I hope my screen, video and audio is clear. So you can just respond whether like if it's clear, you can just raise your hands if it's clear. Yeah, perfect. Okay. I hope in like a past 2 day session, like you have understood what are the different types of like sources of renewable energy which will be generating the power. And meanwhile, like we had a discussion regarding like what are the different types of power generations done and how power is generated from renewable energy, and how like what are the different advantages and disadvantages, like advantages of the same, and the applications of the same we were discussing, right? And yesterday, like we had a discussion regarding smart grid technologies and how the smart grid is used for charging the same, and things we had a discussion, and what are the components which is used in the smart grid, and things we had a discussion, and even application we had we discussed. So let's see the next application level. I mean, like the recently the people have started using electrical vehicle, right? Maybe now we can see people started using electrical vehicle. I mean, like, but I mean, 2 years before, like we haven't seen these type of like EVs in road, but now we can see these EVs in the road, right? So how this drastic change have been happened? Can you predict the reason? Can you please put your reason in chat box? So what is your opinion and why it was happened? You can just put like your opinion in the chat box. Why the sudden changes have been happened and the people started using electrical vehicle EVs, and what is the reason? So I can see that like few comments. Yeah, petrol rise of petrol because of less availability of fuel, pollutions. So these are the reasons. Yes. So the main reason it's like pollution, and even like the price hike of, I mean like petrol price hike, and the things have been. And next is like I have got an comment like pollution and over pollution, fuel shortage, petrol price rise. Obviously, yes, but still, like, can you please tell in which year it have been found? This electrical vehicle have been found by human. So, can you please tell in which year this EV has been launched or EV has been like initially found? Can you please predict? 2017? No. It is like in 90s itself it have been found, but still like researchers are going on to like make the things like more comfortable for the people to use, and it have been like researchers are going on to make the things like since almost like it have found it have some issues with the technical things and the technology. So with the development of technology, it have been improved, and they have made an EV which is perfect for human to use. So after that, like what happened? The people, I mean, like automotive industry, like even now we have like Nexon, like Tata Motors, it's launched, and even like Hyundai, it's launched, and even Mahindra, it's planning to launch. So we can see so many automotive industry have started. I mean, launch the EVs, and people can buy and use the same, right? And even we are lagging with charging stations also. See, like we can't be able to see the charging stations particularly, but we have an applications also to find the same. So don't worry about that type of things. Like if you want to buy EV means it's completely fine. Like we can buy, and even charging stations, we can find that stations with the help of applications which is provided by the automotive industry, or which is like available in the Play Store. So we can able to see in like this charging stations where it is available, and we can use the same. So this is how like EV has been developed and things are done. So basically, what is an EV? So it is like basically an electric vehicle which is like used with like working or operate on an electric motor instead of like internal combustion engine, or else like the things which you've already used, right? Electric motor is used instead of the other things. So EVs include means like in road, rail, vehicle surface, and underwater vessels also, and even electric aircraft which have been found, and even electric spacecraft are also found by human, and this have been used for different purposes for meet the needs of the human, right? So this is the development of EV, which was happened suddenly because of the development of technology, and things have been changed and people started using the same. So the concept of electrical vehicles had been around a long time. It has drawn a considerable amount of interest in past decade, and rising carbon footprints and other in obviously the third point which I have highlighted here is because of the like carbon emission and the pollution. Because of that, like we have been being like people have started finding the different types of EVs, and like even EV have been launched, and we people can able to use the same for different purposes. So this is how like things have been developed, and we can able to use the same also. So even like solar panels, initially people have found EV with solar panel. Now EV they have found, and we can able to charge the same with the charging stations. So initially a person have found the EV with the solar panel on the top of the like body of the car, and even automatically it can charge and it can do, but some limitations is there, right? So initial it was like that, and finally they have kept battery charging system, and things like a regenerative braking system was introduced, and few things have been developed, and like we can able to use the same for like for our human needs and purposes, right? So electric vehicle which can be powered by maybe battery, solar panels, fuel cells, and electrical generator to convert fuel to electricity. So this is how like electrical vehicle it's like working with the help of electric motor, and things are happen. So maybe this is the history of electrical vehicle, since like it have been found invented in 80s 1831, and afterwards it is like development was happened since because of the development of technology and the development of new things. Even like we had a discussion yesterday regarding smart grid, right? Even this development of IoT has developed the smart grid technology and communications, right? Same way this development of motor and the specification and the technology and the things like which have been seen in the real world, which was developed by human, and day by day researches are going on. So with the help of that it's small development which was happened in the 80s, like it have been invented, and it is like started, and finally maybe like on 2016, like a product like it was launched, or maybe in 2007 or 7 also Toyota have like launched, and these things are happened, and like we can see GM General Motors introduced the EV1 and electric car initially on 1996, but it also had some limitations. But so with that limitations, like again, researchers have been done and find out the better one on 2007, and afterwards to 2016, they found at least like somewhat 80% to 90% a perfect one. Now like in 2022, like we are getting an EV which in a perfect way, so that like human or people can use the same without any issues, or like maybe obviously issues will be there in all products, or even if it's like our own car, or I mean normal car also, like obviously issues will be the service have to be done properly, and things have to be cared, right? So these things have to be maintained, but still like almost like we can tell a perfect EV was done, and like we can able to use the same in this year, and even we can purchase the same. And so let's see how it is like designed. So in the like is screen you can see the main components of the electrical vehicle. So even you can also design the same, even like maybe you have attending the project competitions or the project expo for your school, right? So you will be designing some small project, right? Same way a human like you, or else like a people like us have designed the same, and they have tested, and lot of testing have to be done before launching on the road. So they have like designed the EV with the components like which I have listed in the screen. So the first one is like electrical motor, right? So we can have like different type of electrical motor, which we can come to that later. So electrical motor is a basic major component of the EV, and afterwards power electronics controller. Obviously if we consider any system, we need to have a controller, or to control the entire operation of the system, right? So if it's not available means what will happen? If its controller is not there means what will happen? It will have some limitations, it will have some fault, and it won't be rectified, and the things won't work in a smoother way, right? So obviously if we consider any system, or else like if you do any projects, and even it's a small or big, controller, it's an important thing, and power electronics controller, which will deal the controlling operation of the electronic circuit and the things. And if we have a load, we have a source, so the power fetching from the source and refetching it to the load, and to maintain the balance operation of this power fetching and the load maintenance, each and everything will be maintained by this controller. And even like controller means like even you have seen microprocessor or big controller is there, so many controller is there, so it will be using some type of controller for to maintain the operation of the electric vehicle. And we have a DC to DC converter, it's there. And we have like a thermal system for the cooling system. Like obviously if we consider any machine which is like working with corresponding to the heat production of the heat, we need a cooling system to make the system to cool, so that like we can improve the efficiency of the system, or else like we can improve the performance of the system. Obviously cooling system is required. Even like our laptop, even like we have a cooling pad, right? So why we are using cooling pad? To make the laptop to work in a smoother way, or else to maintain the performance in a continuous way, or else to make the laptop to perform in more efficiently, we are using these type of cooling pad. So same way, if we consider the system, I mean like the EV system also, it will also consider, it will also have the thermal system of the cooling system to make the things in a cooler, I mean like to make, or else like if excessive heat is generated, it will cool the things, and so that like we can have a efficient operation, or we don't want to worry about the heating problem and the issues. So next thing is like traction battery pack, and you can see a big pack over there. So since like the entire system working with the battery, so we need a big bulk battery over there. So we can see the it is kept under the, I mean like sheets, or else it is under the body which I have kept, and we have a charging port to charge the same, and transmission unit is there, and onboard charger is there, and auxiliary battery is also there. If suppose like some issue with the transaction battery, an auxiliary battery unit is also fetched with the system, so that like we don't have any, I mean like failure at sudden moment. Suppose like if it suddenly what happened if it's transaction battery, I mean like if it's an electronic circuit, right, we can't predict like what will happen. Maybe in rare cases, if some issues occur, like it will have to be managed with the auxiliary battery system which I've kept with the electrical motor. So this is the basic or the components of electrical vehicle, or main components of electrical vehicle. With these parameters only, EV have been designed, and moreover that like automotive like parts have been also designed with these features. Like we have to consider these features and the other features also while designing the same. So initially they have started and they have found this, and they have designed this, and they have done a simulations. Like simulations means like in and just with some software they have designed this, and they have seen what will happen if this much of power is given to the system, and this much charging have been done, and how much time it have been running, and things have been done. So this is how like design is done, and afterwards they have made a hardware. So obviously when you are doing some projects also, initially you have to study about the same, and next step like what you have to do, you have to design the same, and you have to do the simulations means like if you have a software, you can just design and you can see. Nowadays a lot of software is available, so you can just check MATLAB is there, and so many software is there, so that like you can check the same and you can predict what is output, and at least like you can predict some more than 50% output what will happen if we design like this. And later on you can prepare a hardware of the same system with specification, within a smaller specification, so that you can at least view what is happening there. Even like you can also design a small EVs or small motor, I mean like you can just create a small motor, and you can just have a wheel, and you can just use a controller to control the same, and you can just run the wheel and you can see what will happen. So same way the people have been designed this, and this type of system have been launched, and the EV now we are using in a perfect way. So this is how like things are designed and done. So in more into technical part, maybe you will feel this as little complex, but it is the major circuit part of the EV, And you can see in the left hand side, two wheels I've shown. No, just for example, I have shown only two wheels. Don't mistake that. So afterwards, like we have a motor generator set. So that can be used. I mean, like that can be selected by us. Motor, maybe we have DC motor is there, induction motor is there, and permanent magnet synchronous motor is there, and synchronous motor is there, or sorry, slip ring induction motor is there, SRM is there, synchronous motor is there. So these type of motors can be used based on the, I mean, like a design, or the based on the things like which you have planned. So even you can also try, I mean, like with this circuitry, you can also design a small circuit and design a small product which will run according to your design. And the inverter topology, it's also used. Why? Because like the DC produced have been should be converted to AC. So DC to DC inverter topology is used, and multi-level inverter that have been used. And the device, controller device here, it's MOSFET, IGBT, insulated gate bipolar transistor, MOSFET, metal oxide semiconductor, FET, and we have like different type of things. And even thyristor is there, diode is there. Diode is also a conductor. Maybe you have learned these type of things in the, I mean, like in a semiconductor topic, which you have learned in the physics, right? So these are the devices like which is used to connect these things and to work in a perfect way. And even battery, and we have to connect the battery in a some topology, so that like which will have the maximum efficiency or the maximum output which we can take from the battery out. And afterwards, like we have an hardware, field programmable gate array, control unit is there, FPGA is the technique, recent technique, and microcontroller PIC, it have been already used. Maybe you will familiar with these things later on. But in current system, we are going with FPGA system, since fuzzy logic or neuro fuzzy logic systems are using, since like we can have lot of option and we can have a smoother control if we go for FPGA based control systems. So this is the basic block diagram of the electrical vehicle, or else basic system, electrical system of the EV. And we have a unit eyes, and I have shown there in the top of the figure. So to make the system cooler, we'll have a cooling system also shown in the topmost, I mean, top left hand side corner of the figure. So this is how like electrical circuit of the EV have been designed. And even you can also design, try out with the small things, and you can also see what's happened in the process. And if we considering more in depth into the topic, like we have a battery system, like we have like different types of batteries. They're mostly lithium ion type battery have been used with the system, and which will provide power to keep it running. The battery can be charged for regular power from the regular power grid using specialized power stations, or else like which can be used from our home, we can charge the same, or else from the powers, I mean, like charging station, we can charge the same. So that is with the battery. And next thing is like motor controller. So we should have a control system to control the operation. The control system of an electric car governs the operation of the vehicle, or means like someone have to there to control, right? So motor controller will control the operation of the motor, and including the distribution of power, which I have already told, like how much power it have to take and how much it have to be distributed. And see, if there is no control, means like entire power will be used and it is like wasted, and some issues will be there for the motor, right? So to control the operation of the motor and to fetch the required power and to distribute the power in a equal way, we are using these type of like motor control with the system. And afterwards, like we have an electric engine. We have an electric engine, and electric engine means like electric car, like we have like AC or DC motor which we have already trained, so which will deal with the same. And next, the ultimate thing is like regenerative braking. I hope you have learned already regenerative braking. Regenerative braking converts the kinetic energy of the vehicle into chemical energy to be stored in the battery and used later in powering the vehicle. Since like vehicle it's moving, right? So with that, like kinetic energy of the vehicle, which can be converted into chemical energy to be stored in the battery and which can be used to later on for powering the vehicle. So this regenerative braking system, it's also included with the EV, so that like we can utilize the same for utilize the same for again powering the vehicle. And obviously we have a drive system to drive the entire things, and like to make the transmission easier, and the transmission system is unnecessary. I mean, like the things have to be worked. So we have a driver system also will be included with this EVs. And so these are the major components like uses used with the EV, which we have already discussed. And even like the mechanical or the automotive parts have to be designed. While designing, like we have to keep, I mean, like in a perfect way, so that like it have some in correlation with these things, so that like while designing we have to keep the things in mind while designing the same. So next, if we consider different types of EVs, means like we have plug-in electrical vehicle, on and off-road electric vehicle, space rover vehicle, seaborne vehicle, electrical vehicle, airborne electrical vehicle, electrically powered spacecraft, and range extended electrical vehicle, rail-borne electrical vehicle. So these are the electrical vehicle types like which already launched in the real system or the real world, like so that like people are using the same for different applications or the purposes. So plug-in electrical vehicle, which we have been used on grid and off grid electrical vehicle also used by people, like so these are the different types of electrical vehicles which have been used for different purposes. So when I'm telling this, like I forgot to show you one thing. So I can show you I mean like data sheet of one electrical vehicle so that you can able to understand more. Just give me a minute, like can able to show you one. So you can just put it in the chat box. Which one, like what do you love, which type of like EV you love more, like which automotive? I think like it's already Tata, Mahindra, like Hyundai have been introduced to EV. So which company you feel it's more good actually? Or else you can just type over there what is the top, I mean, like top EV, which is like with perfect condition. You can just put it in the chat box. Like, what do you feel like? Which EV? Yeah, Tesla. It's fine. Tesla. I mean, like I'm comparing in India. I mean, like Tesla. It's fine. That's great. Somebody have like added Tata Motors, like Hyundai, Tata, and if it's considering our area, I mean, like our country, India. I mean, like Indian system, Indian launched TV. So like in that, like almost like people I have seen in the road, the most, the more, I have seen more. It's like which one? Tata Nexon. Yes, the Tata Nexon is the vehicle which I have seen more in the road. So I feel like in India it is like more perfect one. So that's why people have started purchasing Tata Nexon more. And even MG, yeah, MG, I can see MG also have been typed. So MG, it's also a perfect one, but still like we can see only Tata Nexon more. So this is the data sheet of a Tata Motors like Nexon EV, which I have. So you can see the mechanical, like the design of the initially, like you can see the design of the EV, like the wheels and the things like that will be handled by automotive industry, and you can just see a glance of the system. And even like yes, this part like I just want to explain to you, so that's why I have kept here. I hope like you can see the same, right? So you can see electrical motor, it's like kept here. So here they have like uh, added the performance of the, so they have tested already and they have like kept the performance of the same, and you can see the peak output is of 129 ps, and torque it's like of 245 newton meter, that is the peak value of this power. And even the charging, when you drive the lightning the charging out of the fast 2. The fast charging is like just 60 minutes, and for convenience there is an option of regular charging from mini 15 ampere plug point. Charging is 8.5 per hours. So next thing is like, if we go more into this other, I mean like smart things, like we have like different type of smart features, which obviously all vehicle will have the same features also included with this EV also. So navigation and charging station locator. See, you have an option of charging station locator here, so that like you can able to locate the charging station with the application, or else like it automatically have been kept here. And even like these things which another remaining things I hope like we can have in the other vehicles too. So this charging station option, it's like which have they been already added, since we are lagging with the same, so they have already added the inbuilt option of charging. To find out the charging stations, like we can help with the applications. And automatic climate control is there, and multi-drive mode, which is like drive or sport. Even like you can think sport drive also option is available with EV. So you can just see that like people have like designed this like with the sporty type also. It's we can go for that. And even the other thing, the boot space, it's also comfortable like same. And the things like automated climate control, and I hope that like the other features like which already we have been seeing in the other vehicles too. Airbag system, everything, it's like they have kept. I think this is more into our topic actually, the Nexon EV technical specification. So I just want to highlight this, so that's why I have like opened this. So the motor which they have used, permanent magnet synchronous motor. I hope like you can see the same, or else I will read if you can't see. The motor which they have used is like permanent magnet synchronous motor with the electric power of peak value of 129 and torque of 245 Newton meter. So drive mode is like multi-drive mode, drive or sport. And the battery peak, it's like 30 into 2 kilowatt hour, like I can't see. And so that have been specified there. And they have like already designed with three types, or else three model they have been designed. So, and this is the basic feature of electrical things like which you have already mentioned in the data sheet. So that like if you are going planning to buy electrical vehicle, just see the specifications like battery and charging system and the others, torque and the power you have to check. And based on that only you have to buy these. So these are the three things like you have to keep in mind when you are purchasing the EVs, or in future, or maybe now like you're going planning to purchase the same. So this is with that. So this is the basic data sheet which is available in online. If you are planning to buy EV, you can just, I mean, like search in the website, or else like search in the, I mean, like website, and you can just find and you can check what are the different specifications, and you have to check the specification while you buy something. I mean, like not this EV product, and if you are going to buy something electrical items also, you have to see the specification. That is very very important if you consider. So this is how like it have been designed, so you, so that you can find out the performance and things can be easily find out. So I hope you have seen the data sheet and you have understood what are the things like which will be specified in the data sheet. So next, let's see what are the advantages of the same. So basic components we have seen now, and these are the different eight different types of things. So when we consider electrical vehicle, battery efficiency, battery energy efficiency, it's a very very important factor. So we have to see how it is like working. So because battery efficiency thing is like major concern of when we consider EV. So even why people are preferring EV means like the first thing is like the first one, like we had only in the internal combustion engine, which will consume fuel when the vehicle is stationary. So what will happen if we kept the vehicle on and we didn't like off the vehicle, and we are just keeping the same in the like in signals, or else some block, if some traffic jam is there, so we're keeping the vehicle on. So what will happen, it will use the fuel, right? So it will utilize the fuel, and it will waste the fuel, and like what will happen, it will lose for us, right? So energy gets wasted there, right? So in the case of electrical vehicles, the energy it's not consumed when it is stationary. So when the vehicle is stationary, so what will happen, it won't consume the energy, it is not running, so it won't consume the energy when it comes to electrical vehicles. So that is the major advantages of EV. And even in electrical vehicle tank to wheels efficiency, it's about the factor of 3 higher than the internal combustion engine vehicle. See, imagine like tank to vehicle efficiency, it's 3 times higher than the internal combustion engine. So with these two major factors, like people are started like they have like designed this electric and in a perfect way, and people, I mean, the different automotive industry have launched this, and people also started buying the CVs since like because of the petrol hike. So these are the two major concern if we consider electrical vehicle battery energy efficiency. And considering with mechanical advantage, so these are the major advantages, since like if you consider the normal, I mean like a vehicle like will have more vibrations in normal one, but in EV will feel less vibration. So anyone of you have like uh draw, or else anyone have you like I mean like I can't, I don't know whether like you have feel that like, but still if you have if you get a chance, mean just go for a drive in EV and you will understand like what is the difference. Anyone have got a chance to drive in EV? Anyone, you can just raise your hands if you get a chance. Yeah, that's really good. I can see at least like 10 of the participants have raised their hands. So you have like, you will see, understand, you can just compare easily what is the difference, right? So the major difference is it's like noise, it's like completely noise free compared to the normal one. Like EV will have lesser noise and lesser vibration. So it is perfect, right? So we don't want to, I mean like see vibrations and noise, like so these things can be rectified in this type of EV. And even like the other efficiency part, 90% energy conversion efficiency over the full range of speed and power output can be precisely controlled. So these type of energy efficiencies and less vibration and less noise, this mechanical advantage is also there in EV system. So that's why people have started opting these type of things, and even you can note down these advantages if you want. So you can just note down if you want to know about the mechanical advantages of EV. And even this also you can note down if it's, if you feel that like electrical vehicle battery efficiency advantages. So in effect, like we are clubbing these type of advantages, like, and the mechanical and the other things, like these are the major or the major advantages of EV. So the first thing is like reduce greenhouse gas emission. Yesterday I have seen that like students have asked about battery will, since like battery we can able to recycle and things can be more easier, and will the people are doing researches to do the same also to recycling and to make an environment friendly. The people have been finding the same. So the, if you consider normal, I mean like a normal vehicle, like it will create pollution, that is, so see if it affect the greenhouse also. So things, so what will happen? So in if you're going for EV means like we can reduce greenhouse gas emission and even reduce air pollution and health issues caused by it, and even reduce the dependence on petrol. So even you know what's happening with the petrol price, right? I don't want to tell, right? So these things are happen, so which can be avoided with this if you are going for EV. And if it's reduce the noise pollution also, does not consume energy when stationary, which we have already told that like vehicle electric EV does not consume energy when it is stationary. So with this like advantages, like this EV, it's like have been designed and things have been worked. And next major thing, it's like charging of the same. So did anyone of you visited the charging station? anyone of you visited the EV charging station, or anyone of you seen that? So how do you feel that, like, it's a small one, right? If it's comparing with the bulkiest petrol bunk, like we have seen bigger ones. So it is like small one, and even like even we can like see what and you if you are not seen means like when you drive for next time, or else when like when you are traveling next time, you can see and you can just stop your car and you can see, and you can just see what is an EV charging stations, and you can also feel the same. So that is how like EV charging station have been designed. So charging station is designed. So how this charging have been done? So since like it can be charged from home, but grid to this connection, and again like charging from this to vehicle, it is a task, right? So these things have to be again the design have to be done for the proper charging and the things, right? So this is how like EV charging station it's done. So by tomorrow we can see like what how it is charged and how it is done. So by tomorrow we can see the grid integration of, or else like vehicle to grid integration, how it is connected and how it is charged with the grid system. So I hope like you have understood the basics of the electrical vehicle. So by tomorrow we can like discuss few more in depth regarding this integration of this grid to the electrical vehicle and different types of EVs. So if you have any queries means you can just put it in the chat box. You can just add in the chat box. If you have any queries regarding the same, you can just add in the chat box. So I have got a query. Charging stations are currently free, but in the future, if EV numbers start rising, won't it cause a large energy scarcity as electricity is required for lot of activities? What can be done to tackle this issue? So the main thing is like we have a smart grid system, right? Yesterday we had a discussion regarding smart grid system. So what we have discussed, we have an integration, or else like we can a distributed power system, right? So even hydro, solar, wind. So we have gifted with this renewable energy power sources. So we can utilize this same and we can connect the same in the smart grid system. So smart with the help of smart grid system and renewable energy power resources, I hope like we won't be scarcity. We won't be in a scarcity of electricity. Still, like researches are going on, but currently, like we will have facing the scarcity because like the technology and the researches is not up to the level. So I hope like within 10 years, like after I mean, like more EVs have been launched, we won't feel any scarcity also. So next question, it's like, sir, we can add a solar panel to the roof of the EV car so that it gets more range than it claims, and the use OC charging stations can be less, right? Yeah, obviously, like that system works, but still, even night drives and the things like a solar panel won't be you won't be charging, right? So, particularly like some issues have limitations will be there, so that's why it is not opt. The next question is like using electricity itself, it's more polluting, right, as most of the power is generated with coal. So that's why I have told that like with the help of renewable energy and smart grid system, we are switching the same so that like we can have a more, or else like we don't it won't create the I mean like environment pollute, or it won't pollute the environment. And I have seen that like recent studies told that like electrical vehicles are danger to environment due to decomposition of batteries, and we should mine for lithium ion for making batteries. Obviously that is right. Actually I mean like the people are finding that like since now we have found that like electrical vehicle it's better and people started using it, right? But still you have to think, right, day by day. Even today the people are doing research, and tomorrow see if day by day the people are doing research and they are finding a better solutions for the same. Even the recycling part of the battery the people are doing is a research team is there, and they are finding the things like how to recycle in a proper way, and things are happening over there. And moreover that like people, even like hydrogen gas vehicle, it's also that also working, people are working on that. Maybe chances are there, I mean like people will move to hydrogen type vehicle, so we can't tell what will happen in future, but still like now people our world which is like they have found that like EV it's better compared to the past things, like or the past vehicle we have used it, it is causing pollution and things that is more dangerous, right? And price of the fuel and things which now we are feeling that like EV it's fine, but in future obviously the people will find a better solution and will have a better, I mean, like even hydrogen gas. The people I have seen, like one of my friend told that like he's working with this EV industry, and he have told that like hydrogen vehicle will be launching soon, and things like already started. People are doing research on that. So this is how like we can't predict. Even like you can also study and you can also find like better options. And next query is like safety aspects in EV. Like in recent days, we are hearing news about fire accident caused in EV. Now my question is like, has like we see airplane and helicopter having a black box technology to find the case of accident? Why can't the same technology be applied in the compact manner in vehicles, especially in EVs, just to get an idea about such unusual fire accidents? That is really, I am really good to see these type of questions actually, since like what he have means like the black box effects can, the black box can be also used with this EV, so that like we can able to predict what type of accident. Obviously it is like a good comment, like I think like people are fine doing researches on the same area. Hopefully like maybe you have told about accident, right? So accidents will happen because of this electrical circuit fire issues that are happening, but still hopefully people are doing research on the same, and maybe they have considered this, so hopefully we'll have a better circuit without any accidents, electrical accidents. The price of electricity won't increase. The price, I have a question that like, will price of electricity increase when all charge in, when, I mean, like, I don't know what he have meant. He have, I asked whether like price of electricity will increase when EV increases. Obviously the answer is no, since like we have the smart grid technology and the renewable energy power solutions, and things are developing and technologies are developing, so that like the prices won't rise. So thank you. If you have any queries, you can just put in the chat box. Like I will clear you by tomorrow. So I hope that like you got some idea regarding this electrical vehicle technology and how it is designed and what are the different advantages of the same. And tomorrow we'll move to little further in depth to the topic like this grid integration and electrical vehicle to grid integration and things we can discuss tomorrow. And see you guys tomorrow. And thank you.